All right, and we are live. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on wherever you are in the world. Humans and perhaps agents watching.
AI agents are watching us now.
They might be. You never know.
Well, I built an agent. I don't know if there's an echo. Is that me?
I think that's you, not me.
I don't know. Fix
Hold
that.
on. Let me look. Actually, is that better?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just
this
got
is good.
so I swapped out my Shure X2U, which is like the, mic to like USB or whatever, and I swapped it out with this Scarlett 2i2 fourth gen. So it's
Mhm.
like a legit like nice mixer and stuff now that I have. So yeah, I'm still playing around with the audio a little bit. It's probably why I was echoing a bit.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, man.
I'm not in my normal setup today. Got some Renos happening, and um, but
Nice.
back to kind of that question, AI agent listening to us. I actually I've been using AI agents to watch some YouTube videos to
Hmm.
give me analysis on things.
Oh, nice.
So definitely they're watching, they're listening, right?
Yeah.
Especially
That,
like with all this stuff on GPT 5.5 coming out.
yeah.
I don't. Sometimes I might not have time to watch 100 hours of videos of everybody's opinion.
Yeah, I've been trying to do the podcast in the car thing. I definitely don't
Mhm.
drive as much as like I used to, like working from home and such. But that's where I get the majority of my audio is in the car, I think.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That or just I have it running all around my house nonstop when the kids are not in school. When the
Right.
kids are in school, so. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been a cool week. We got Opus 4.7. People are still talking about Mythos, but nobody's really seen it live in action. What people have, they're saying they have.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't personally seen it. I got access to 5.5 last night.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I'm not sure if you have access. I would assume it's rolled out in the US first. Um,
I don't think in Codex, and I tried it this morning. I updated Codex, and I did not see it.
no, not in
Um,
Codex yet.
Not in Codex yet. No. Yeah. Opus 4.7 is in Claude Code though. I tried
Mhm.
that for it's all right.
So it's all right.
You know who I feel bad for? Uh, that Boris dude, the one that created Claude Code. Because like if you look at his like X like or Twitter or whatever posts and stuff, and like everybody just diabolically going after everything that he says, which and it's tough, right? Because it's like, look, there's probably only so much he can say on social media before like Anthropic's legal and PR team has to be like, don't
Yeah.
say that. So like everybody like really goes after him on social media, and they're like,
Mhm.
you're gaslighting us and this and that. And the reality is like there's only so much he's allowed to say.
Of
So I
course.
feel for him.
Like, you know, I know people have been complaining about it. I've been using it. Like it's better than before, better than 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 months ago was a little bit better, um,
Well, so
but
there
I'm not
is
doing some crazy stuff. I'm not doing like crazy things. That's the maybe
right.
item I'm not noticing it as much. I do notice some hallucination, like even in 5.4.
Yeah.
If I have it connected, and even 4.7, I connected it to OpenClaw, and I asked it to do stuff, and it said it did it. Like so, I have OpenCloud and I have KAgent running. I have two doing the same thing. Two agents that
Yep.
are supposed to write files to a Google Doc. That's literally it. There's nothing. And I'm like, I want to test it.
Right.
I have two different models, and I just asked them the same question. Um, Both of them never wrote to Google Docs, though they told me they did. Right?
And you said
Even with
both GPT and Opus.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 4.7 and 5.4. Not five. I haven't played with 5.5.
Okay.
But I just had it running on like I had a K agent running
Yep.
with the same type of agent, same instructions, same skills, and then
Yep.
I had OpenClaw doing its thing. Uh,
Yeah. Hmm.
and both of them never wrote to it, which I had to ask it again.
Yeah.
Like before 4.6, and it just did it.
Right.
Um, even Grok 4.3 wrote the file, which I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Grok, so you're back.
Well, that's an interesting thing too, right? Let's definitely dive into that. But like the whole SpaceX buying Cursor, or they have this deal where it's like they're gonna invest 10 billion, but if they don't do it in the way that they need it to be done, then they'll buy it for 60 or something like that, which is interesting. But yeah, let me share my screen here really quick. So, and this is important to point out for like everything around Opus 4.7, 4.6 as well. Anything that you hear in GPT, and I had this conversation like probably 12 months back, and this was when like the whole thing around, oh, things are the models are getting worse and blah 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 and yada yada, right? It's and this I think there needs to be like a very clear line and distinction for everybody. It's not that the models get worse. Like it's not like Anthropic or OpenAI or whoever is like going into a model and like pulling parameters out, right? Like it's not like the model is getting worse. It's that whatever they're doing in the back end, whether they're changing the default efforts, whether they are rate limiting you, whether they are between, just a total example, right? Between the hours of 9 and 12, Anthropic has, the most powerful models on the largest amount of hardware, right? For like better reasoning and such. And I'm blanking on the word that I'm looking. Processing power. Thank you, Mike. Just was able to remind myself, right? So it's like between the hours of 9 and 12, you Opus 4.7 are on the best hardware with the best processing power, and then as the day goes on, you move on to this hardware, then you move on to this hardware, et cetera, because it's obviously expensive for them, right? So like all those things, that's what makes the model hallucinate. That's what makes the model worse. It's not that the LLM itself is like untraining, right? It's literally just where the model is being hosted and how many people are hitting it at once. And this is kind of like what we saw, right? Where
and I've seen like other people like Mark Andreessen kind of pointed out that one of the reasons, it's because they simply don't have the compute to serve.
Right. And that's the whole thing, right? And this is why I'm looking for the article itself. Of course, I'm not going to find it. But that's the other thing too, right? It is the reason that you pay more money and there's more output tokens for larger, more powerful models, like comparing Sonnet 4.6 to Opus 4.7. The reason why it's more expensive, the reason why there's more output is because it is on hardware that is has a more powerful GPUs, more powerful CPUs, more memory, etc. And that's requiring more processing power, right? So the models are requiring more processing power. More processing power means a larger amount of hardware, right? Or a more powerful hardware. And that's why we pay more. And that is that. I think that's where people are irritated, right? It's like, okay, so I get it, right? I get it. I want to use a more powerful model. This model needs more powerful GPUs, right? Or more powerful hardware, whatever, for more processing. And because of that, that costs them way more money. So it's going to cost me way more money. Totally get it. I'm with you, right? I'm on board with that. I'll pay the extra money. The thing that I think is irritating people is like, we're paying the extra money and we're getting worse results.
And that makes people upset, right?
Right.
But they're changing the billing, aren't they? Looking at changing some of the billing stuff.
And I saw that too. Like I saw something along the lines of, if you wanted to use the more, I don't know how true this is, but it's like, if you wanted to use the more powerful models, you needed to pay for a max plan, not a pro plan. So you were going to start to see those models getting removed from like Claude Code, right? Unless you're on the max plan. Now, I don't know if they're still doing that, but I know that was something that they were testing. And I think they reverted it back or something along those lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to look for
I'm still on the max plan. But
yeah,
going back to that, the cursor thing. Well, SpaceX, right? Was it $10 billion paying for Cursor to collaborate with them? The new, and like that's one of the things, with the option to acquire the company for close to $60 billion
right.
itself, right?
Which is confusing to me. I may be missing like the point here, but I don't personally see why why SpaceX would want to do that.
Well, it's SpaceX and XAI, right? Same company now.
But same company, yeah. So SpaceX slash XAI. Like, I guess where my confusion is like at the end of the day, I don't know what Cursor is doing more so in comparison to like Claude Code and Codex, other than giving you an IDE. But like you get the same experience if I just open up VS Code and open up a terminal or install the Anthropic extension, right? Or am I missing something with Cursor?
You do like through the IDE, you do get some customization, some enterprise stuff. There are specific aspects and access to all the models for a specific fee, right?
Yes.
So if you pay the fee, you get access to those models. And whatever the reselling process is behind it. But like, from a Cursor perspective, what they bring is, X and SpaceX have massive compute, like Colossus, their supercluster, and they have Colossus 2, I think it's called, coming up. So that gives them the compute. Cursor is just that AI coding extension or experience, and it has a large user base. So I'm curious how it's shrinking or if it's not shrinking, because I canceled my Cursor account. Right.
Yeah, I haven't used Cursor since last year around this time.
Yeah.
That's when I kind of stopped using it. Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, I feel, and again, I could be ignorant to what is going on, but like in my head, I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just save the $10 billion and just build your own command line interface or IDE?
Yeah.
Maybe
it costs less than 10 billion.
Yeah, like,
but it's people, right? It's just people too, right?
Exactly. Like they're probably buying the user base is what I'm assuming. Like I'm assuming that user base is worth.
For sure. Yeah, like I'm just reading up on some articles. Like in short, X wants Cursor's data and developer mindset.
Okay, there you go.
Cursor wants XAI's money and compute power.
Yeah.
Right. That's literally the trade-off, right? Here's the brains and the data. All right, here's the money and here's the compute power that we have with Colossus.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're trading tokens for users.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right. I'll share my screen here really quick. I was finally able to find this. But this was the full report, right? The full postmortem that we got, which was after investigation, we identified 3 things, right? On March 4th, this was where Anthropic was throttling you from like high to medium reasoning. We shipped the change to clear Claude's older thinking from sessions that have been reduced, blah, blah, blah. That bug caused, I guess, worse outputs. And then April 16th, we added a system prompt instruction to reduce verbosity combination, but it hurt code quality and was reverted back. Yeah, so it's like something happened, right, underneath the hood that made code quality and output worse. Now, on the flip side of this, right, what we got a couple of days ago was, I think it was in Claude Devs actually, right? Here we go. Okay. So then we got this, right? Over the past month, some of you reported code quality issues, blah, blah, blah. And then all are fixed. And we've reset usage for subscribers. So again, it's like, I don't know. I don't know like what is factual and what is not at this point, right? Because we got this right, but people are still saying no, this isn't looking good.
I'll never know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get to the bottom of it itself.
Right.
Just new models are going to come out and more models, and now there's even models like I have to find this, but Hugging Face CTO talked about a new model that was released today.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That competes with like 4.6 and runs on 128 gigs, so it can run on your M5.
Oh wow, nice.
Which is super exciting.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, and I think to your point, right? Like this is the world that we live in for everybody that's using agents and LLMs for code generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna live in 18-hour increments, pretty much, right? You're gonna wake up and you're gonna open up your terminal, and you're gonna have one terminal that says Codex, and you're gonna have one terminal that says Claude, and you're gonna ask them both the same question, and you're gonna have this one verify this one and this one verify this one. And until you get to the end result that you want. I think that's the world that we're going to be living in.
So
yeah,
with that, so that's kind of like the whole LLM experience. But if we do agents in it, right? Yeah. We can't just keep on throwing new models without testing and evaluating it, right? Like I can have, well, I guess if my agent reacts one way with Opus 4.6, and then 2 months later it starts acting a different way.
Yeah.
Right. We got to start. We have to have those metrics, like how it's reacting. Right. The skills we add to it, the tools and stuff like that.
Yep.
Right.
And that's where like agent evals and stuff comes into play, and like get a good forecast of how this thing is operating a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 days ago, 3 weeks ago, and where things are moving now. And again, like I think that we can throw agent skills at things. I think that we can throw specialized agents at things, but at the end of the day, all said and done, you are still at the mercy of, like, for example, like what we saw, right? That output from Anthropic saying like, yeah, like there was a bug and we had to fix it. Like, you are always going to be at the mercy of your LLM provider unless you are fine-tuning your own models, right? Like that's, or unless like you are using like a local model, like a Gemma, whatever it's called, or DeepSeek or Olama model or whatever, right? And you're pulling it down and you're saving it somewhere, and that's what you're using because like that's the baseline, like that's what you're always going to get. But when you're using models that are in constant flux, like an Opus model or a GPT model or whatever, you tell me, but like in my opinion, like yes, like you could throw agent skills at it, you can throw tools at it, you can get it as close to perfect as possible, but at the end of the day, all said and done, you're still at the mercy of whatever the LLM provider decides to do. Like it doesn't matter how many agent skills you have, right, or how many MCP server tools you have, or how good your system prompt is. If Anthropic or whoever else is, if there's a bug in the LLM or bug in Claude Code or whatever, right, or whatever you're using, which is throttling performance.
100%. But what are you going to deploy a bunch of GPUs locally?
I know, right? And that's the that
you can if depending on the organization, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to get those models from Azure, AWS, and they'll Bedrock and all that stuff. They'll host the models that you want for you, right? That's what they're doing. So you're gonna get that from them. Itself instead of the frontier models.
And so maybe that is the answer, right? Like if you notice, all of the problems that people were hitting weren't because of the model. They were because of what Claude Code itself, as in Claude Code, the application, right? Not the Opus models. So if you just completely remove Claude Code, Codex, open code, like whatever else you're using, right? You completely remove everything that is outside of your control, and you go directly to the model with your own agent, right? Kagent or Crew AI or LangChain or like whatever framework, whatever runtime you're using to build your agents, you should be getting like normal results.
Yeah.
So maybe that's key. Yeah, it's something to think about. And I don't know if there's any, if anybody has any comments, please post them. I'm really curious on like everybody's thoughts here in terms
Because
of,
we like this would have to go through, like, as you're deploying agents, you're going to put this in some type of pipeline to evaluate things. Like,
yeah,
like
totally.
I'm about to spin up agent eval and just run it through my agents, and I'm going to try to compare it based on models and see how it works itself.
And it almost needs to be a live test, right? It almost needs to be a test that's done in intervals, like whether it's every 30 minutes or every 3 hours or whatever. Because the result, if you run it now, the result that you get now may differ in 3 hours. So it almost needs to be like
sucks.
a end-to-end interval test. Yeah, it does. Yeah, but that's like, but again, that's where it comes down to. Like, we are at the mercy of whatever the agent tool we're using or whatever the LLM provider is doing. Like, we are at the mercy of them 100%. And even, for example, let's say you completely get yourself out of Claude Code, because again, not to keep beating a dead horse here, but everybody that is having issues right now saying Opus sucks or this or that or blah, 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 it's not the model. It is the agent, runtime, or framework, whatever you want to call it, that you're using. So it's Claude Code. It's not the model, right? Now, of course, the model is going to have its good things and bad things, et cetera, right? But the main issues that y'all are seeing is not the model. It's the framework or the runtime. But on the flip side, right, you also see people that are like, hey, I'm using an agent to hit Opus and I do 2 prompts and I'm at 80% capacity for the day. Right?
Yeah.
80%. So then you got another problem that you got to deal with. And I don't like, I personally think the answer is like everybody just like every organization needs to be able to utilize their own local models. But until fine tuning is easier, until it's cheaper, we can't get there. It's impossible. But I don't know. Maybe it's not impossible. Maybe it's a matter of an organization has a rack of DGXs.
Yeah.
Which isn't like crazy expensive, right? 5,000 times 10 of them. Or maybe you don't even need that many. Or maybe there's a DGX cloud, right? Where you just kind of log into the SaaS and you're like, I need you to train this model. And everything is done on their hardware. All the processing is done on their hardware. And then you just download your model. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, we'll see. Like, yeah, we're gonna just. I'm sure in a couple months, weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we get more models, new models.
Yep.
Itself. So, we'll just keep on playing with it. Like, I'm excited to get the DGX Spark to see what models I can run locally on that thing. I got an M4 Mac, so I'm gonna run that and run some models this weekend.
Nice.
I was supposed to get it today, and I was going to just show it on the stream. Like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
That's a little DGX Spark, but it got delayed in transit, unfortunately. So can't be tinkering around with it this weekend to set it up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
So you're getting it. You're supposed to be getting it this weekend, right? You said.
I was supposed to be today, but it's got delivered. It's delayed till Tuesday. So.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But I'll play around with 5.5 this week. I've been building a lot of agentic kind of demos around. I've been using the concept of that LLM wiki.
Okay.
Right, where instead of me just building out an entire bank infrastructure, itself, I just recreate that with an LLM wiki. Then my agents can now interact with it, and makes it easier to kind of demo and showcase the capability of an agent. And then I could test things too, because I could even have my agent talk to a Databricks or whatever, some type of tool set in the back to get data. But this makes it easier to just spin it up in a Docker for me. So I'm kind of focusing on that this week,
That's
which
awesome.
has been great.
Nice. Yeah, my week so far has been a lot of stuff around progressive disclosure when it comes to MCP. That's been
Let's dive into that, man.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Like I have to read more about it. I know you posted a great blog. Which
I have another
read
one
some of it.
too. Yeah, I have another one that's written. It's just I'm just waiting for it to get posted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 10,000 foot. Let's kind of just dive into it.
So the gist is, when you connect to any MCP server, right? Because this is what happens. You have an agent, you ask your LLM a question. The LLM then has to reason on what MCP server tool to use, right? And then your agent goes and calls it. That's the loop. Now, the problem is, when you have an agent and you have an MCP server, right, connects to your agent, it preloads all of the tools schemas, right? So if you have 10 tools or 100 tools in your MCP server, all of the schemas are getting loaded. That's why when you go and you, for example, use like MCP Inspector, you can see all the tools listed. Now, here's the problem with that. Depending on the MCP server, right, before your first prompt to your agent, you could have gone through 100,000 tokens, because it loads all the tool schemas, which cost tokens. So with progressive disclosure, you have two tools. You have an invoke tool and a get tool. That is it. The get tool goes and gets the tool, right? And the invoke tool invokes whatever tool you go and get. So it's not loading the entire schema, which saves a ton in tokens, which then saves, of course, a ton in context overall and cost, like real dollars, right? So that's the high level.
Oh, okay. So with it, then we have kind of it's a discovery and execution tools within the model itself, right?
That's it. It's a discovery and execution tool within the agent. So, and it's really good because, remember, you're saving a ton of tokens, which means you're saving a ton of dollars, right? Organizations love that. You're saving a ton of context because you're saving a ton of tokens. And the attack surface is much smaller, right? When you're getting one tool and invoking one tool at a time versus getting all tools, right? The entire schema, from the name to the description to what it does, everything. You're saving you're saving on a lot.
So would it be like mostly recommended for if your agents have like multi-tools, like what I'm saying, like a single, like 5 or 2 different tool kind of agent? Would you skip this for it, or is this mostly for like long-running complex agents?
So like if you have like 1 or 2 tools, right, it's like you're probably not saving much. But I've also never seen an MCP server with 1 tool or 2 tools.
Yeah.
So it's like the minimum that I've seen is like 15 or 20.
Yeah.
So, and even with that, right, it's like, let's say, for example, even you use whatever you're using to specify what tools you want within your agent, right? So like with Agent Gateway, for example, like you can say, you can set up a policy to say, I only want these 5 tools exposed. So then you may be thinking to yourself, oh, okay, I got around this. No. Just because only those 5 tools are exposed does not mean that all the tool schema from all the tools within the MCP servers weren't loaded. They were still loaded. You just can't see it. So either way, you're still spending an insane amount of money for no reason. Now,
I see.
For everybody listening, you may have also heard of something called dynamic tool discovery. right? Which is a similar concept, but instead of even just loading one or two tools, it's just dynamically going and figuring out what tool it needs at runtime. So very similar concept. I just wanted to bring it up because I've had a couple people ask me like, oh, is it the same thing as dynamic tool discovery? And it's technically not. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So if my model can't, like my model has to be good enough then to discover these. Like if my large model, can't discover them, there's breaks, or are we kind of at a point where pretty much every model from 4 or 5 or something, Opus and whatever, GPT-5 dot whatever, is pretty good at discovering the tools?
Yeah. So I don't know of a model currently that would not be able to find a tool, right? Like as long as it's compatible, like as long as whatever model you're using is compatible with the MCP spec, right? And it can do JSON RPC, which I don't know of any that can't, because that's the data layer, right? It's all JSON RPC. So as long as that call can be made, which again, I don't know of an LLM that it can't do that. Unless you're building your own model yourself and you're not incorporating that. Yeah.
So, but
if you run into that.
So if we add more like tools to it, but the workflow that we're trying to create has to be fast, then this might not be the best. Like I'm just saying, in like critical environments where I need this to be sub-millisecond financials or trading. I probably wouldn't have a set of tools like that, or too many tools, because that's going to be then too slow.
Well, so that's the thing, right? Like, let's say, and tell me if I answer this question properly, in terms of what you were thinking. Yeah, it sounds like what you're saying is it might be faster without progressive disclosure because all those MCP server tools are already found, right? Yeah. So, and then because of that, you might run into performance issues. Good question. And the 10,000 foot view is you will not run into those issues because there is a light version of the schema of all the tools loaded, not the full version. Okay. So what you have, the full light version of all the tool schemas loaded. That's how the get tool can find whatever MCP server tool it needs to find, right? So there is a light version of it exposed, and because of that, you won't have any performance issues with this. You actually, I haven't tested this, but I'm curious if anybody else has. You may have more performance issues if all the tool schemas are loaded, right? Because your context window is going to be larger. So if you're hitting limits right off the bat and compaction needs to occur after 2 prompts, you're actually probably going to have more performance issues than if you did progressive disclosure. And apologies, I don't know what is going on with my my video right now, but it's like flicker. I don't know why. Yeah, I'll figure it out
once
eventually. Yeah,
don't worry about it. It's probably just good little reboot.
Yeah.
Okay, like everything.
Good old fashioned reboot.
Good old fashioned. That Mac needs to be rebooted once in a while.
Exactly.
It barely does.
Yeah.
Itself.
She's been running for a while, so maybe I should do a reboot at some point. Yeah. So that's been a big thing for me this week. Today and probably this weekend, I want to dive more into agent identity. I'm going to dive into Entra's agent identity stuff more, and then with the new Gemini Enterprise Agent platform that was announced this week at Google Next, they have their own like agent identity stuff as well. So I'm going to dive into that. I'm very curious to dive more into that world, because the agent identity stuff is really interesting, right? Like, if you're thinking about like the anatomy of an agent identity, it's like you have the ID, you have the name, you have the person that's running it, right? And then maybe you have the blueprint or like the job of the agent, which is going to be really, really crucial for organizations moving forward to just get an understanding of like what this agent is trying to do. And we're trying to expose, like the industry is trying to expose all of that data through things like, let's say you have an OBO flow, right? When that agent hits agent gateway or whatever AI gateway, it's like it is exposing data, right? It is exposing an ID. It is exposing the person like myself or whoever, right? That initiated it, right? But like if we can get to the point where we don't have to worry about getting all that data exposed and instead just go directly to like the agent's blueprint, that would be phenomenal.
100%. I had a thought and I just kind of went blank on it.
It's all good. It's Friday.
Identity is going to be is huge, right? Like we're seeing this with our customers as we're talking to people.
It's like the main talking point.
Main talking point, and even what happens if we want that agent to spin up not only like user workflow, but what that agent access to, like the sandboxes, right? Like we're seeing that a lot. They spin up a sandbox. I've done it with Claude, even K-Agent and stuff like that. Like, hey, spin me up a sandbox, make this test, do it. Which is fine for me, right? And home labbing and doing my things. But running it in an enterprise, I want to know everything that was done there. It's a must itself.
Yep.
I think it's just super important to log all that data, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like there's two pieces there, right? It is having the ability to have the data points, right, within your agent sandbox or within your agent identity or both, right? Because even if you're running the agents within a sandbox, you could still implement agent identity, right? Which that'll obviously make the data more rich. And then the next piece of it is exposing that data. So like there's a lot of data that's exposed, but just because it's exposed does not mean you're capturing it somewhere, right? So like an agent gateway, for example, like for our enterprise UI, we have a lot of data that is exposed or saved within ClickHouse to be exposed via the UI, but there's still a ton of other like metrics and traces that you can capture with an OTel collector and then send them to wherever you want, right? Like your observability platform or your database or whatever. And I say all that to say, like, there's probably a ton of data that for everybody that's watching, there's probably a ton of data that your gateway or your whatever tool you're using is exposing, right? And you can take that data and actually perform a particular action with that data. I see you just posted about Quen here.
Yeah, no, I posted about Quen because so that's the model that Hugging Face CTO Julian was posting. So he has this running inside of his PyCode agent, on his MacBook Pro, and it is equivalent to kind of the latest Opus, or the feel is very close. They say.
Are we talking about performance, or are we talking about output quality, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Right? Both itself. Because it's a local model now that you can run, locally itself. So I'm going to be giving this model a try this weekend, comparing it to one run it inside of OpenClaw, one run it inside of Cage and an agent gateway, and then let it just go and see what I can do with it.
I think I'm going to put that on my list of stuff to do this weekend too. And
then kind of benchmark it with eval.
Yeah, started Quen 3.6 27. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. There's a spider on my ceiling. That's why I keep looking up. I just noticed him, but he's too high up to reach, so I kind of just have to.
Don't let him eat you, man.
Yeah, I just have to deal with whatever my fate is gonna be moving forward. Sorry, ADHD.
That's all right, man.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm gonna check that out as well. Because I'm very curious to see, like, well, and it's so interesting too, because when you think about it, like my workflow, right? Like, let's say I'm working with something like Agent Gateway or related or whatever. Like, I'm actually not really going off of the parameters that a model has anymore. I do three things. I say, go look at stuff on the internet, hear docs, right? Do a web search. I say, look at the code base. And then I say, look at what's currently deployed. So like, for example, if I have Agent Gateway deployed in my Kubernetes cluster, I tell my agent, go look at the CRDs, right? Get an understanding of the CRDs and get an understanding of the code base. Now, if you think about it, any LLM with an agent should be able to do that at this point.
Oh, 100%.
So then the other question is, do you actually need your agent or your LLM to be as smart as you think? Maybe not.
No, probably not. But I think that's where I believe kind of that small language models is.
Yeah.
We talked about it for like 3 years. It's going to become, more important. And
right.
I think it will, because I don't need to have all the, like, eventually I'm going to just be I could be calling different LLMs for different things.
Right.
Right. Even right now, when you ask ChatGPT or Opus, it can auto detect the models, right? Or you have Agent Gateway or something in front of that to do model priority or load balancing, all those things. I personally, I don't need it. But I'm not also a developer. I'm not writing code. I am looking at code exactly like you. If I need to explain, hey, what's new in Agent Gateway, give me the CRDs, give me the config.
Yeah.
Output it for me, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. It's going to do that to me.
Right.
If I look at somebody else's code base, I do the same thing. I'm like, hey, what features are they missing? What are the feature parities between these two? Yeah. Or how do I even deploy this? How do I enable this config? Because I need to set this up for a customer or client or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's how I use it.
Yeah.
A lot of looking at code and comparing things.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And the question there is, it's like, again, it's like to your point of like small language models and stuff, it's like, how large of a model do you need to do that? Probably not anything insane. No. Would be my assumption.
Well, we have the machines, man. You got to just keep on building locally, and it's just sometimes it's just easier to punt it over to the biggest model.
Yeah.
But all like the biggest thing for me is I just want context and memory. Like that's the number one issue with all these things right now. It's still long running agents that can run for a long time, that could start thinking for themselves in a constraint that that skill that I put them in.
Yep.
And first I need to, as a human, know the workflow. Because I find it doesn't matter if it's whatever automation you're doing or AI agents, it's that workflow. And as I'm talking to customers and they're like, hey, we're rebuilding our software architecture, because that's a big thing. You search it on X and stuff like that. Everybody in 2026, 2027 is re-architecting the fundamentals of how their infrastructure, how their software works, how their SaaS works, how their whatever the building works, because they want to introduce agents to eliminate some of the static workflows that are not as modular, that can't move as much, and then they have to put this duct tape and this bubble gum to make this work. Hey, can we now restructure, re-architect this with some type of agent or agentic workflow? But we need to understand that workflow, right? Yeah. And if you understand the workflow, you can build an agent that I think is custom tailored to solve that workflow. And then you can, of course, audit and know and understand everything that's happening. And that's that blueprint kind of concept of it, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. Food for thought. It's good to dive into. I think I know what I'm going to do this weekend, at least now. I'm going to definitely download that new Quant model and do testing. Like, I want to see if I can do the same workflows without a larger model.
Have you used the Edge thing? I can't see it. The Edge. You can't see it. Google AI Edge Gallery.
No.
On here, no.
What is that?
You can run the models on your iPhone if you have an iPhone 16.
Yeah. Well, it's in the App Store or no?
Oh, it's in the App Store. Yeah.
What is it called?
Google AI Edge Gallery.
Google AI Edge Gallery. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Is this new?
I don't know I have no idea how old it is, to be honest. I just found it, but you have like the Gemma for E2B IT models there.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can download it and it runs on your machine. locally.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's quick.
Discover the power of on-device AI models.
Yeah.
AI chat. Okay, so you download it and then you utilize it. How do you connect to it? Is there a client
Yeah, it's just a client within it.
within the
It's
app?
within the app,
Oh,
like a
dude,
chat and agent client.
that's insane.
So this will allow you to touch grass and play with a new agent.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
it. Yo,
I just downloaded it when you showed me because you were doing like llama stuff, and you're like, I'm getting
yeah,
like 1 token a second.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I could have just opened up a textbooks and figure out what
Right.
the answer is by the time this thing, figures it out.
Yo,
But
total side note, but like I still don't understand why like VS Code or whatever other IDE has not made some type of like iOS app. Like with how with the fact that everybody's like utilizing an I or even Cursor, right? Like with everybody utilizing an IDE right now and interacting with their agents, like you know how nice it would be if I could just go on my iPad and like
I think
open
that's an
up.
iOS limitation.
You think
They
so?
don't allow, yeah, they don't allow you access. I don't think they let you access to the um, whatever the kernel or the network to do whatever it needs
Well,
to. Because on Android you can. I have Linux running on my
yeah,
Android device, and I can have a terminal, and I have
you could download VS
Termis.
Code.
Well, not VS Code. Well, I could technically run VS Code as a server and then
Yeah.
use the web browser, um, but it would be nice.
So I have like I'm looking on iOS right
There's
now.
what
I
there's
have some
Visual Code.
yeah, I have something called Code Editor compiler in IDE, which
Yeah,
has awful reviews. But this is what I'm talking. So it looks like it is possible, right?
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
can do it. I just don't understand why nobody's doing it. It would make life so much more efficient.
But what's like I have on my phone. Well, I have Telegram, and
Yeah.
I have K agent bots
Yeah.
running here.
Yeah.
Like, and then I have a coding bot
Yeah.
within my K agent, and I just talk to it, and it builds code to a repo for me. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I need do I don't want to write code on my phone, right? Maybe
Well,
that's just me. But you could open up also Claude Dispatch,
yeah.
OpenClaw,
So
all these things.
the way so I'm a weirdo and I still like to do crazy things like look at my code.
Oh,
So
that's
like
so weird, man.
that's a weird way to do it. Yeah. So like for me, for example, so I went to a steakhouse the other night, right? Just grabbed dinner and a drink, and I'm sitting there. I had my iPad, and I was like reading something on like Google Scholarly or whatever, and I was just thinking to myself like, it would be nice if I had VS Code right now and I could get some stuff done without having my laptop while just
Mhm.
sitting at the bar.
Well, you could have just opened up. Does Claude code
Well,
not give
yeah,
you that? Well, I guess
yeah.
you can't code though. You can.
Well, so I can open like Claude, right? I can download the
Yeah, of
Claude iOS
course.
app and the Codex iOS app and everything. Yeah, and that works 100%. But it's not like an IDE. It's not an editor where I can like go and look at the code. I can go and like prompt it to do things. But like, I want
Mhm.
to look at what's getting built, man. I'm
Yeah.
still I still like to pretend I'm an engineer sometimes.
Well, you are. You have to understand the fundamentals, right?
I still like look and look, I still like looking at the code, and I can't tell you how many times like I'm going and building something and I'm like, no, this is wrong. And I go
Yeah.
edit it, or I tell my agent to edit it, right? But like
Mhm.
if I wasn't looking at the code base, I wouldn't know that it was
Yeah.
wrong. Um, so I still always fundamentally know that I need to look at it.
I do always because I'm doing a lot of stuff on my computer.
Yeah.
And even I find like I was doing some stuff in GKE with Claude, and I was like building out Agent Gateway and all these
Yeah.
things. But then on another tab, I had connecting to my local Kubernetes cluster to do some like ambient stuff. And I noticed sometimes it would not drop the like it would build a code, whatever CRD it did, it put it in the wrong Kubernetes repo, or in the wrong environments.
Right.
And I'm like, why is this here? Why is that here?
Right.
That happens a lot, but that's just, yeah.
Or even like a lot of like, I would say like I live more in the terminal nowadays than anything else, but like I still like if it says that it deployed something and it's working, I don't believe it. Like, and there's been times that I'm like, no, you didn't deploy it, or it's not running, or it's not doing what's expected. And if I'm not in my terminal checking that, right, running whatever commands I have to run to ensure that it's up and operational,
Yeah.
I would never catch it, right? I would just use the Claude app and I would prompt it, or Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever, and it would say, "Yep, it's done." And I would say, "Okie dokie, cool." And then I go and I try to send it to somebody, and they're like, "No, this doesn't work. What are you talking about?"
Nice.
That's my fear, and I've caught it a couple of times. All right,
man. I know we're hitting up time.
I know we're running out.
You know what I do want to? I want to play with I'm going to play with the models more this week, and I think on the next stream, maybe spend like 5 or 15 minutes. I'm going to see if like using agent evals, maybe like evaluate these models and see what we get out of them.
Let's do it.
I'm going to see if we can build a little test around that, because that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Just because a lot of questions I'm getting, like security, of course, number one in the agentic space, identity, security. And then recently everybody's like, well, how do I know it's not failing?
Right.
How do I grade it? How do I have a kind of like that gold VMware image that we had?
Yep.
How do we have a gold image of our
exactly? Yep.
Of our agent flow, right?
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, we'll definitely dive into that next week. Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll play around with the new Quen model and see what I can come up with.
All right, man. Well, it's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And thanks everybody for listening. I really appreciate it.
100%.
Have a good weekend.
Take care. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button.